Oh, yes. Well, no, not exactly. They came on their own.
I think we're gonna switch classes maybe in here. I like this. Stage much better than the front of the classroom. Hello, you little people. No, have you had classes that are stage specific? So it has to be real quick.
It's just that simple. Their balcony. Yeah. I took your seat.
I haven't seen you since the last time I saw you.
How about that?
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And we saved a seat for you.
Oh, where? I can sit in the back there somewhere. I tried to remote in, but Dr. Boss told them, oh, we don't need that.
We could have a laptop with your face on it.
Yeah, I told him we could FaceTime me in, you know?
It's like he's opposed to technology.
I think he is. I think he's anti-technology.
You have to check if your mic working.
My mic working? I don't know which one's my mic.
Your
Oh,
mic
this is
over
my mic?
there, but that's your seat. You have to speak into that one.
I have to speak into
Speak
that
into
one?
that one from here.
From here?
This is your seat, but that's your mic.
Oh, probably the end mic? Yeah. Hey, I got a lot of voice. It'll probably pick it
I
up.
know.
Test 1, 2, 3. Or should I say, party 1, 2, 3. Let's party. If you can't hear me, you failed the party. I think that mic is turned in. I'm not sure yet. You have to start recognizing by the payroll. Yeah, okay.
Brittany, you saved a seat for you in the front door here. Have you sat in the front door? Come on down.
So close.
We're gonna do a compression algorithm to get started, which is if there's an open seat in front of an open row in front of you next to it. Oh, compression. Yeah, no, you can't. It's every other row.
Mike, come on down. Bring Natalie and whatever that guy is. Jordan. We got Logan coming. Come on down to the front, Logan. They won't bite too hard.
these are the important people. I think we can get started. That's right.
Hey.
Over here. Welcome. Come over here. I think that's good.
Are we gonna have to stand to talk, or can we do a casual grab the mic?
Oh, you can grab.
Can we?
Yeah, I think these come off. Yep.
Brandon, we know where you were.
Thank you guys for coming. This is a special event. We didn't know what it would take to bring you out, and we see that basically nothing. No chapel credit, and you still came. That's good to see. And hopefully maybe you brought a printout of your course sequence schedule. If you have questions about that, we should have time before you leave to meet with your academic advisor and catch them. And if you don't catch them here, you know where their office is, and you know you can grab them anytime. But thank you guys for coming. This is a real special event for us. Most of the other departments are meeting maybe in one of the classrooms with an advisor, and a few of them, I don't know of any other that they're having the whole department try to get together. And one of the reasons we wanted to do this is so you could have a chance to see that you're not the only computer science major on campus. And, you know, in case you were wondering, you know, sometimes it feels like everybody is aviation, everybody is engineering, psychology, education, something other than computer science. But just take a minute and look around. You've got a portion of your classmates, your fellow computer science majors here. So thanks again for coming. Just a couple of things we wanted to share with you. And then on the way out, we'll have some bags of cookies. These are specially individually packaged cookies, and we'll try to catch you just as we're leaving at the end of this. But let me start our little informal time together with a word of prayer, and then we'll do some sharing. Heavenly Father, I thank you for the gift of this day. Lord, I thank you for each of these students and for the health and strength that you bless them with, that they could be here. We lift up those who are unable to attend and maybe in isolation or quarantine. We pray for your provision for them, for healing for those who are sick. Lord, a special sense of your presence. But we thank you for the joy that we have of being together, the joy of being at this place, the work that you've given us, the special attention that has been put into the courses, the work that's been done so far this semester, and the knowledge of your presence with us, the knowledge that these are good things that we are doing. And now I pray for your blessing on each of these students as they continue in what lies ahead of them, as they finish up this semester. We pray for your blessing upon even our time together now. And we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. So there are a couple of things I wanted to mention. I think it's helpful from time to time to be reminded of the uniqueness of the major that you have selected and that you are involved in. This is quite a distinct type of program of study that you're going through, and sometimes as you're taking specific courses, it's hard to remember the bigger picture of what you're a part of. And so in general, this is very much general, broad kind of sense of things. We are not a natural science. We are an artificial science. We work with things that man has created, systems and hardware. And so in that sense, we're not a natural science, but our activities look a lot like the other sciences in the rigorous approaches we take to complex problems, our desire to solve problems. And so we're still a science. And we, even in your courses that you have now, you may recognize some of the additional rigor and discipline that goes into doing the activities and the training that you're receiving.
We focus on computing. How can we compute something? So we should be thinking computationally, and the way that we solve our problems is from that approach of what can be computed, what can't be computed, how do we solve a problem using a computational approach. We have some pretty unique ways of problem solving. We share a lot of the same background that other disciplines use in how they address problem solving, but then we take it a step further in how we can solve things specifically on the systems that we have access to. This gives us a unique perspective, both in the way of thinking and the way of thinking about the future, what can be done, what's currently being done in this discipline that's ever expanding. If you think of the most polytechnic of polytechnic degrees at a polytechnic university, it's got to be computer science. Which other discipline is so involved across all the disciplines and contributes to, benefits from that multidiscipline aspect of computer science? So I encourage you, as you're studying your computer science specific programs, to always be thinking, how does this relate to other areas? What other disciplines would I like to learn a little bit more about and be able to apply what I'm learning here into another area? They all need you, and so don't limit your skills and your abilities just to the computer science. As you're taking your courses, another good thing to keep in mind is some of these recurring themes that you see as you take courses. They're introduced in certain levels, and then as you go on, you should hear the same thing, see the same idea, maybe a little deeper, maybe a little more theoretical. This notion of, again, computational thinking, thinking about how do we use computing and to solve a particular problem. We look at things from a system perspective. How do different pieces work together to solve the problem? We have to, because we're working with hardware, we're working with software, we're using operating systems, we're using networks. We have this perspective on using interconnecting things to solve our problem. We've got theoretical foundations. Again, you should be hitting these ideas, what you can do, what you can't do in networks, what you can and can't do in your programming courses computationally. The recurring themes of abstraction. We love abstraction. It lets us do more and work more powerfully with our systems. The notion of complexity. How difficult is it to do the things we're doing? We are always interested in how do we share things and securely share things and securely work with others and do more things at the same time concurrently. You're learning different programming paradigms, how different programming languages work. Maybe if you're using imperative or functional programming, logic programming, again, that's all part of what you should be experiencing as you go through your computer science degree. We focus on practical applications. You should be able to do stuff. And if you're not doing things in any of your courses, figure out a way to do something, to build something, to make something. Even courses non-computer science, you have opportunities to solve a problem, write your own program to solve a problem, and always look for those opportunities to do that. And then, believe it or not, computers make an impact on society. We have that ethical component and this growing use of computers in our life. The greater the impact that technology is having forces us to be mindful of that and to be careful about what we do, what we develop, how we use, how we think about what we're working on. So you're taking, in your classes, you're being exposed to these themes, and these themes, continue to develop your understanding, hopefully broadening your sense of what can be done, what is being done. And then on your own, you're doing other stuff. You're working on your own projects and pursuing your own interests, which we so strongly encourage. But we also encourage you to work together. Don't do this completely by yourself. Instead, get involved with others. Find others who share your interest in these areas. Don't be a loner. Others are going to benefit from your experience, from the things that you get excited about. And one of the ways that that's actually done, that's student-driven, is the ACM student chapter. And you may recognize the ACM student president is ACM Student Chapter President, is on stage with us this morning to share a little bit about what they're currently doing and what's coming up. So, Nathan, thanks for coming.
No problem. Hello. Hey, everyone. Hey, Ethan. Good to see everyone. My name is Nathan, and I am a senior computer science and engineering major here. And if you don't know why I'm up here, it's because you haven't been to ACM yet, so you should change that. We are maybe not the only computer science club on campus, but we are probably the best. There's a few other ones, and they do cool things as well, so you should join all of them. But show of hands, how many of you feel like everything you need to learn for a job in the future, you're going to learn in the classroom? Oh, okay, attaboy, Isaac. So, why is that? Because we know classes don't teach us everything, right? So, as a club, we are trying to cover topics and tools and processes that you don't get to learn in the classroom. Or if you do, you're touching on it and then you move on. And so we're trying to teach you how to use tools that you will see on a daily basis in the career field. And so things that you've probably heard of but don't know a whole lot about, like Git or databases or Python or any number of other languages. We are trying to help you guys get comfortable with these, familiar with them. That way, in a job interview, someone asks you a question about this and you say, oh yeah, I have experience about that, I know how that works. We're also trying to help you build up your resume with projects and experience and any number of other things. So if that sounds boring, it's probably because you haven't done it. And if you have done it and still thought it was boring, well, you might be right. But that's okay. We also have kind of an absurdly large budget at the moment, and we have a couple ideas how we want to spend that. Shirts is a good opportunity, but there's a couple other things that we're thinking about getting. And so if you come join the club as a member, we are going to try to use our budget in a way that will help you get equipment, experience, things that you probably wouldn't spend the money on yourself to learn about. We want to help you do that. So we have the resources, we have a weekly meeting time. Previously we were meeting in Longview Hall, but now we're going to be meeting in the cybersecurity lab because it's, you know, it's pretty cool, it's dark in there. And we are meeting on Fridays at 4 o'clock until 5 o'clock. And if that just turned you off because like, Friday afternoons, that's my me time, this is still me time. You're coming, you're building up your skill set, you're learning about things that you wouldn't get to otherwise, and you get to make friends in the computer science department, which is not so easy. So think about it, and I hope to see you guys there. Is that everything?
Very good. Thank you, Nathan. And one thing he did mention, how much does it cost to be a local member?
It costs $20 to be a national member of, well, to be a member of the national chapter. But again, we have a budget, so we're planning on offsetting that if you're interested in joining.
Right now, they're not charging.
And right now, according to Dr. Rouse, I can't verify it. He says that they're not charging.
Okay.
For
So,
the national.
for the national chapter.
What's the local fee?
It's the same. Well, just to come here, like to the
Yeah,
club,
our local.
it's free to show up.
Oh.
Yeah,
You don't charge anything to?
just tuition.
So, yeah, no extra charge to participate this and even get your name as a member of the local student chapter, but then to be a national student member as well of ACM, the official, the professional organization. It typically costs $20 most semesters, but now they're offering free membership to students. I don't know how long that's going to be available for 1 year.
And I think it's like to the end of the month, but I'm not sure. I'd have to check the email again.
Okay, that's just a great thing to have on your resume, you know, to have at the bottom that you're a member of the national ACM organization. So if you don't sign up, you do need to tell me why you haven't taken advantage of this special offer. Was it because it didn't cost anything, because it was free, or you know what reason? So I strongly encourage you to follow that email that you sent out, Dr. Rouse, to students about that. Yes, good. Thank you. Another way to develop your skills outside of the classroom is the programming practice. That's still going on Wednesdays. We have our graduate, Josh Workman, who comes in and he kind of directs us through solving a particular problem. This is open to anybody. You want to spend a little time practicing your programming skills on a given problem, please come and join us. Typically, we have a competition in the fall, beginning of November, but it's been delayed, and they're looking at doing some spring competition instead. So we'll just continue doing this through the semester. If you haven't come so far, I would encourage you just to come to show up to see what it's about. If you haven't attended a programming practice yet, take advantage of that. 4 o'clock today, over in Longview Hall 133. So looking at really the intention of this is to make sure that you know what is coming up in the spring and that you maybe you're thinking about courses and you're putting together a course schedule. In general, if your major is the cybersecurity, or the network security or the information systems, then Dr. Gowing should be your advisor. Dr. Rouse covers most of the computer science and the computer science math students. I have most of the computer science engineering technology, and the game development majors. But again, you guys know us, we work together, and we know the different areas, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have about schedules. I will try to give you a little bit of time at the end to grab one of these guys if you have an individual question. But I did ask them if they would share a little bit about their thoughts for you at this point in the semester, maybe a word of encouragement. So we'll start with Dr. Gowing, who I'm the chair of the residential computer science department. He's the chair of the global computer science programs, the online computer science programs. And so you have 2 chairs. Actually, you have 3 chairs, because then we have our party chair, Dr. Rouse. But yeah, what would you like to share?
Semester's almost over, everybody. We're in week 10. Hang in there. You can do this. Okay? But as far as planning your courses for next semester, many of you, I have people that are my advisees that I've never seen. People aren't coming to talk to me. They're doing just fine. But if you're not sure about your classes, or if you just want to see, hey, is there some way that I can graduate earlier or something? That's part of our job as advisors, is to help you figure stuff like that out. Especially those of you that came in with dual credit. It should be able to get you out earlier if that's what you want to do. Or if not, we can help you figure out what other classes to take. But just remember, that's why we're here. So don't think you're bothering us, especially like when we have our office hours. Just come in and talk to us. Come in and talk to us if you want any ideas about where to go with this. Like I said, you guys can do this. If anybody did not get a duck, any freshmen, I have them in my office. I forgot to bring them with me because I have a class immediately after this, so I forgot to bring the ducks. But if you need a duck, come by my office. I have ducks. If somebody's sitting here wondering, what is he talking about? Well, that's what you get for missing, orientation and stuff. Come by my office and I'll explain why you need a duck. Besides that, other encouragement advice, let's see, don't run with scissors. Don't wear plaids and stripes together. And I think that's about it. Oh yeah, and Nathan, you can turn on the lights in the lab. You just keep pressing the on button until it changes the lights, so they're on. Okay, so the lights do work in the lab. Yeah. So okay. Well, anyway, thank you.
Thank you. And even if you had a duck before and you don't know where it's ended up, you've lost it, we've got extra ducks. I think Dr. Gowing has plenty of ducks, so swing by his office sometime and grab another one. What do you have to share, Dr. Rouse?
I don't like to stay up here either. So one thing that I figured Dr. Gowing would say, because he usually says it, so I'm going to say it for him. One of the things that you want to make sure, and he was actually talking about that me time, that time where you just kind of take a break, but don't take the break and do video games. Take the break and get out and get, walk around the loop or whatever, but, do something that just kind of lets your brain kind of have a rest, So studying is great, getting your homework done is great, but, you still got to have that time where you kind of just re-energize and whatnot. So don't forget the importance of that. Since this is kind of, well, I saw you scratched out chapel, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to bring chapel back into it because I thought this was really interesting. In Proverbs 3, verse 5, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. And that's an easy one. And lean not on your own understanding. It doesn't say shut your brain off. It says just don't always lean on it. But that means still you got to have, bring a little common sense and whatnot, that problem solving that Dr. Boss was talking about and whatnot. And watch what you allow your ears to hear. And watch what you allow your eyes to see. Because not everything out there that's on the internet, I know this is a shocker, is true. I know. And not even from Fox News. My wife would come, I'd come home and my wife would tell me, oh, this and this and this. And I'm like, no, it was on Fox News. And I'm like, no. Well, today she finally got a reality check. Because on Fox News, it said that mouthwash will kill the coronavirus. So you take it for what it's worth. I'm like, and they didn't say that you just used it in your mouth. So, because the coronavirus nose thing and stuff, I don't recommend that you wash your nose out with mouthwash. But, just remember that not everything out there is true. I liked what Dr. Graham, the Dean of Business, I was talking with him, said. He said, they just always got to come up with something to make some noise. So let the Word of God be that input into you that brings, the peace, that brings the reality, that brings the calmness to you. Because there's going to be all kinds of stuff. I don't know about y'all, but knowing that mouthwash might kill the coronavirus doesn't necessarily bring just real peace to me. But reading the Word that says, by His stripes I am healed of all sickness, disease, and infirmity. That brings me peace because I know that word, that coming to me is for real. So I just wanted to make sure that you saw that. But just to reiterate, we're here for you guys and gals. We want to see you be successful. We want to see you be able to take the classes that are going to be able to make you an asset when you go out there to interview, to talk with people and whatnot. And so, make sure that you don't isolate. Make sure that you come talk. If you just need a sounding board, here's two gentlemen that are great at it. I'll definitely be, where you, whatever the situation, know that you're not alone, that we're here for you, and that we want to see you be successful.
Good. Thank you, Dr. Rouse. As you're putting together your spring schedule, just a couple of courses to keep in mind. We will be offering information systems in the spring, and this would be, I think for most of you, it would be an elective if you're the information systems, that's your major. check to see to make sure you have this on your schedule. There's also math is offering a new course, digital forensics. Oh, Karen Austin, come back a minute. Don't, before you leave. Do you guys know Karen Austin? Okay, if you don't, you should. She is our secretary. Okay, they house her down in Glasgow. They keep her down in that area, but she is really the computer science secretary. She's actually the Google on campus in person. You have any question about anything, related to any matter, academic, whatever, she's a great one to start with, and she'll give you the list of responses, answers to the searches, and can redirect them. So if you haven't met her yet, I encourage you to just stop by her office down in Glasgow at the far end just to say hi and thank her for the work that she does behind the scenes on your behalf. You have anything you want to share to them?
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
Do any of you guys still do Facebook, or is it like obsolete?
Do we have?
Facebook?
Yeah. Raise your hand high. Proud Facebook.
And what about Instagram? That's more Twitter? Okay, I'm asking because right now I'm handling the Facebook page for School of Arts and Sciences. Do any of you know we even have one of those? No. We do. Look us up because their pictures are going to be on there. I've got a picture of these fine gentlemen sitting on the stage. I'm going to post on Facebook so you can check it out.
You know what they would check out if you took a picture of them.
Would you be
You know,
okay if I took a picture of her?
They have their masks on, so I think it's safe. Yeah.
It's kind of hard with the bright light, but that's a pretty good picture there. Ready? 5, 4, gotcha.
You may need a new iPhone if you're having trouble with the dark light.
Would you like to help me out with that?
No, it's the phone itself. You need a new one.
She's phoning in a little money. there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those things are expensive, you know.
Well, thank you.
That's why I don't have one.
Yeah. Anyway, well, it's nice to meet you all, and yes, I'm in Glasgow, and I'm the best candy dish on campus, so come see me.
There you
I
go.
know, right? Don't tell your friends, just for this group only.
Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah, all right, well, I've got one more stop. I'm checking out all of the academic meetings for arts and sciences today, and
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by.
you're welcome.
Thank you for all that you do. Yep. So I was saying math is offering a data science course, and if you have interest in that area, looking a little bit more into data analytics, this is their introductory course, so I'd encourage you to take a look at that for your spring schedule. I wanted to throw something else in here. So when you left today, you could say, I learned something new, maybe in chapel. This may be something new for you, but it relates heavily to our field as computer scientists. Do you know the name of the man sitting in the chair here in front of this state-of-the-art computer? That's actually Herman Zeff.
I never had that much hair.
And he is the one standing there and pointing down. He's a font type designer. This picture was taken back in 1980. You guys recognize the one who's sitting?
Lamport?
No.
Newt.
Yeah. So that's Donald Knuth. And if you're not familiar with that name, Donald Knuth, that's spelled K, his last name is K-N-U-T-H, it really is our guy. He has, for those of us who are involved in software, who write programs, who analyze algorithms, he is probably the most significant contributor, made the most significant contributions to the field. A wonderful man to get to know a little bit more about. He's still alive. This picture was back from 1980, just when he was introducing his system Tech, that you may have heard of as a LaTeX or LaTeX, the font setting type. And that's one of his many contributions to the field. A more recent picture of him holding one of his editions, one of his volumes of his computer science encyclopedia that he's been writing for many, many years. And so really one of the foremost minds in theoretical computer science, but also very, very practical, very applied. As I've gotten to know him over the years, one of the things that really stood out for me was a book that he wrote a number of years back called 316. And this was material he developed in doing a Bible study as he was going to lead a Sunday school class at his church. And he decided to do kind of an overview of the Bible. Well, there are 31,000 verses in the Bible, and he knew he wouldn't be able to cover all of them. And so instead, he took an approach similar to what he does in his computer science classes when students turn in programs that are hundreds of pages long. He'll jump to some page in the middle and look at that one, carefully study that part of the program, and then go to the other parts of the program, let that part lead him to others, and assess the program, get to know the program based on that. So his technique was to go to chapter 3, verse 16 of every book in the Bible, and do kind of a random sampling, but deeply study that verse and the material related to it, both commentaries and other biblical passages related to it. And by studying this small portion of each chapter of each book in the Bible, to be able to get more of a Bible-wide comprehensive study. And his interest in font setting and calligraphy led him to contact different world-renowned artists, calligraphists, to take those verses and then do illustrations. And so this book, the illuminated book, has those illustrations. So if you aren't familiar with Donald, I encourage you to check out some material. There's a nice article in the Quantum magazine that they did kind of over his life. And I just picked this clip that he had giving some advice to young people. I thought it's worthwhile for us to just take a minute and hear what he has to say. See if this will play.
If somebody said, what advice would I give to a young person, they always ask that funny kind of a question. And I think one of the things that would sort of come first to me is this idea of don't just believe that it's because something is trendy that it's good. I probably go the other extreme, where if I find too many people adopting a certain idea, I probably think it's wrong. Or if my work had become too popular, I probably would think I had to change. This is of course ridiculous, but I see the other side of it too often, where people will do something against their own gut instincts because they think the community wants them to do it that way. So people will work on a certain subject, even though they aren't terribly interested in it, because they think that they'll get more prestige by working on it. I think you get more prestige by doing good science than by doing popular science, because if you go with what you really think is important, then it's a higher chance that it really is important in the long run, and it's the long run which has the most benefit to the world. So usually when I'm writing a book or publishing a book, it's different from books that have been done before, because I feel there is a need for such a book, not because there was somebody saying please write such a book, or that other people have already done that kind of thing. So follow your own instincts, it seems to me, is better than follow the herd. My friend Peter Wegner told me in the 60s that I should, for the art of computer programming, I shouldn't write the whole series first. I should first write a Reader's Digest of it, and then expand on the parts afterward. that would probably work for him better than, but much better for, but I work in a completely different way. I have to see something to the point where I've surrounded it and sort of totally understood it before I can write about it with any confidence. And so that's the way I work. I don't want to write about a high level thing unless I've fully understood a low level thing. Other people have completely different strengths. I know, but for me, I wrote a book about a few verses of the Bible. Once I understood those verses and sort of everything I could find in the library about a small part of the Bible, all of a sudden I had firm pegs on which I could hang other knowledge about it. But if I went through my whole life only understood without any in-depth knowledge of any part, then it all seems to be flimsy and to me doesn't give me some satisfaction. Well, the classic phrase is that liberal education is to learn something about everything and everything about something. And I like this idea of learning everything about an area before you feel. If you don't know something real solid, then you never have enough confidence. A lot of times I'll have to read through a lot of material just in order to write one sentence somehow, because my sentence will then I'll choose words that make it more convincing than if I really don't have the knowledge. It'll somehow come out implicitly in my writing. These are little sort of vague thoughts that I have when reflecting over some of the directions that distinguish what I've done from what I've seen other people doing.
Could you hear that okay? The idea the challenge from him is to know what you know and then build off of that. And as at this point in the semester, there may be stuff in different courses you've had that you're not real sure about, and it's a good time to go back and make sure you understand the stuff that you know what you know, and then build from that point, and instead of trying to always be in that unknown area. Each semester we try to do a shirting ceremony. Those students who have finished data structures, past data structures in the previous semester, and we haven't yet done it for those who completed data structures in the spring. We tried to do the fall earlier this semester, and everybody who had a shirt coming collected their shirt except for Brandon Lewis. Brandon Lewis, are you here today? Brandon Lewis. Okay, so we have the one shirting ceremony. Congratulations. I hope this semester is going as well for you as last fall, and I look forward to doing that for the rest of you that we need to who passed in the spring. A quick reminder: I shared this once before, but an elementary school that we happened upon when we were in Bhutan had some inspirational signs around the building outside, and this particular one I found interesting. This idea that it's up to you. It's your attitude, your perspective, what you're bringing to the classroom, your desire to learn that makes a difference. And as bad as the instructor is, and as bad as the circumstances are in the classroom, whatever else it is, they can't stop you if you're determined to learn. So I encourage you to keep that in mind, that responsibility, and that potential, that gift that you have to learn. And we've done that. So thank you so much for attending. I'm going to dismiss Alex and his helper Christian to go over by the door here. We have there's some cookies in that cooler bag, and then there's some other packaged cookies, that if you just want to take them just outside and set them out, and then when these guys are dismissed in a minute or two, they can grab them. And there's some juice boxes too that may remind you of kindergarten or something like that. But thank you guys for setting those out.
And we'll stay around if they have questions, right?
Yeah, so now, I did leave you a couple minutes. And so before you guys leave, have you been up on stage yet? In the Belcher, have you had a chance to be up on stage? Maybe they'll leave the mic on and you can come and test out the mic and come on stage. But come on up if you got questions or you have a schedule put together, bring it on up here, and we'll spend the rest of the time just meeting with your advisor. Do we need to dismiss them in prayer?
Pray for 'em.
Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah, absolutely. Just wave a hand and someone else does it. That's incredible. All right. Well, dear Father, I thank you so much for this school, LeTourneau, and our department inside of it. I thank you for our professors who care about us and do their best to ensure that we are receiving a good education, but more than that, also pursuing you. Father, I ask that you will allow this semester to continue and end well. I pray that you will keep us safe, that you will provide us with the energy and encouragement that we need, help us to be examples to not just each other, but also other students here, that we'll do our best to honor you in our actions, study well, and just pour ourselves into our studies, but also, like Dr. Rouse said, take a step back, breathe, collect ourselves, and find our peace and energy in you. So with that, Father, I thank you for the opportunity for us to gather, and I pray that you will give us what we need for today and beyond that. In your name I pray, amen.
Thank you. So, thank you guys for coming.